What's up, y'all? I hope you're doing well. Today I want to talk about a little bit of my personal journey of how I went from feeling very unwell and in pain to feeling a lot less unwell. And there's still a journey to go. We're never finished with this stuff, but I want to make this as tangible as I can, and share some depth of what this has been like for me, and a process that I believe that if you really want to get better, that a lot of us need to go through a similar process. It's just what I've found to be true in my life, and you can decide if that's something that is true for you. By the way, my name is Mitch. This is my life. This is what I do in a lot of ways, and I've chosen to help people with this. I help people with chronic pain, other chronic issues, work through this type of stuff in their life. On this channel, I've shared a lot about, I would say, a little bit more of like the meta of what this is, and the ideas that go along with this. But in this kind of story, in this share, I want to highlight more of what the actual process is like, and how to actually navigate it. So for me, what I realized in myself was that I was very numb. I was very dull. And I realized this because I started meditating, and because I had experiences in my life that showed me this. And this numbness, it wasn't my choice. I wasn't like shunning feeling on purpose. I wasn't being reactive on purpose. This was the way that I learned how to be in the world. And what this looked like for me was that I was very reactive. I experienced anger and frustration on a daily basis, and it didn't take much to trigger me. So I would be going through life and I would experience something and it would set me off. And I wasn't an outwardly angry or upset person. Other people wouldn't have known that this was going on in my internal world. But a lot of stuff in life would just set me off. And it would mess me up for like a whole day. And this is a very hard way to live. And this also came into my body. So I was experiencing a lot of pain, back pain, hip pain. And I was also stuck in my body. So that's really what got me into this, was that I basically couldn't move very well. Physically stuck. And it was a manifestation of being stuck in a lot of other ways, the ways that I'm talking about here. So what I did, basically, the way I think about it right now is that in terms of getting better, when I reflect on how I got better, it's sort of like I was following this way. Like there was a way there, but it wasn't a map. It wasn't like, oh, this is how you do it. It was just kind of following these intuitions inside. And, in reflection, I can break down and say, okay, even though there's not like a cause and effect, like doing this equals this, and if you just do this enough, then you'll get there. There is sort of like, there's components to work with. So I'll just describe some of these components. And one of these components is feeling. So understanding and noticing that I was numb, and that I had these reactions to life that were keeping me down, keeping me stuck. In working with them, one of the things that I brought into my life was choosing to feel. Now, what this looked like, basically it started with noticing how reactive I was. Noticing that things would set me off, things would trigger me. And so when things would trigger me, what I would do is I would become the watcher. I would start to watch myself. This was with help of like learning meditation, learning really basic meditation of just watching your thoughts, just watching yourself. And so I would do this. I would become the watcher, and I would watch the ways that something would happen in my life, like something as little as like someone would cut me off in traffic, and maybe they'd give me the finger or something, and I would just be filled with like anger and resentment, and yeah, just be so upset. and so I'd watch this happen, and as I'm creating more separation from it, where it's like, okay, this is something that I can like almost separate myself from. I can see a habit take form. And so it just started with noticing this and watching this. And then as this is going on, there became a time where I was ready to start to do something with it, to start to like have some action. And that action was basically noticing that these reactions I was having was like leading me away from something. So basically to like a protection. I was trying to protect myself of not feeling it. So then I went through this process of choosing to feel it. And basically, really the simplicity is, okay, I feel this reaction of someone cut me off. I would watch it, and then now I feel it. And by feel it, I mean choosing to be with it. Not to do that crazy reaction that I would have, but just literally to feel it inside of me. Feel this reaction, feel this anger, this frustration, whatever it is. And as I would do this more and more, I would realize that I can feel where it is in my body. It's existing somewhere in my body. For example, maybe it's like a closing in my chest, or maybe it's a pit in my stomach. And so I'd start to like locate where this was in my body. And I don't know if that's something you can do at first. For me, I think I had to go through that period of watching. And then, okay, now I feel this thing in my chest. I'm noticing I'm reactive, but okay, where is it in my body? Oh, okay, there's this discomfort in my chest. And what I would do is just bring my awareness there and feel that discomfort and breathe into it. And just, when I say feel, what I mean is like the same way that you could feel someone poking you, right? Or someone giving you a massage. It's a sensation. This is a sensation, so that we can go in and feel it. So I would go in and I would feel this, and I would feel it deeply. So I'd just choose to feel. And what I kind of realized was that it actually wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. And also that as I would do this, that it would feel and feel and feel, and it'd kind of like tone down a little bit. It would lessen, it would go away, it would chill out a little bit. And so this was a big process for me to actually choose to go into this stuff. And I could sort of feel something taking place here. You know, I could feel like, okay, this is important. And then that kind of brings us to the second component of what you can work with, and that is opening. To ride with this example, what I would do is I would feel it. Okay, notice, watch. Okay, there's this thing happening. Oh, where is it? Okay, I feel it. Feel it, feel it, feel it. And then I would start to open. Because what this is it's a closing. So there's a closing that's happening. So this thing in my chest I feel, it's going like this. It's a tension. And so if there's something closing, then what I would do is I would breathe into it and I would start to open it. And opening is a very hard thing to describe. It's kind of something I imagine that you just have to find. But I think breathing into it and imagining like a flower opening, right? There's also this other part to opening, which is like, opening is like choosing to feel. It's choosing to be curious about the feeling. Why is this feeling here? Can I allow this feeling? And can I be curious enough to dig a little deeper into the feeling? So this was massive for me. And there's another third component, which I started to work with, I would say a little bit later, but now it's sort of the main practice that I have in my life, which is releasing. And releasing is letting go. So we talked about the closing earlier. The closing is a protection, is basically what I discovered. It's that in some way I'm trying to protect myself. And that protection comes from hurt. It comes from pain. It comes from hard things that I've experienced in my life, where closing was the safest thing that I could do. And essentially, that kept me stuck, right? It kept me like being a little boy inside. I was just a little boy because that was what I learned when I was a little boy. So it's almost like my aging process stopped with this closing. And that was like ruining relationships for me. Like that was making all kinds of stuff in my life like way harder than it needed to be because I would close. So closing is an action. It's something that even if you're doing it subconsciously, it's something that you're doing. And so release is the letting go of that action. So sometimes we think about letting go as like something you're doing, you're actively doing. And you are, but it's more like just taking your foot off the gas pedal, right? It's like, okay, if there's something that's tensing and happening, then release is like, can I just let that go, right? Can I stop that? And so if we just come back to this example, release in this example would be like, okay, I notice that I'm reacting to something. I watch it, then I feel it. And as I'm feeling it, I can open to it, can open more and more and feel it deeper and deeper. And then there's like, okay, I notice that there's this closing happening. Can I just release? Is there anything I can do to let go? And letting go comes about in many, many ways. So letting go can be just like releasing muscular tension. Letting go can be yawning. It can be laughing. It can be expressing anger, but actually expressing it, not suppressing, expressing. It can be shaking. Letting go could even be throwing up. And I've done every single one of these forms of letting go. And when I experience real release, real let go, and as I continue to experience it in my life, it is the most satisfying feeling I've ever had in my life. Better than sex. So, sometimes. That's how powerful this is. Like our body wants to let go. And I've shared some stories of that letting go. I actually did a Substack post about one of them really recently. So if you're watching this right now, you could probably find that really easy. But back to, to wrap this all up, it's like there is a way that you're following of learning to feel, learning to open, and learning to release. And many, many of us have shut down feeling. So much so that when I use that word with other people, sometimes it's not even understood, and I wouldn't have understood it before I went through this process. I used a quote in my last article that was, if you've never been to London, looking where it is on a map or seeing pictures of it or someone telling you about it, none of that will actually help you feel what it's like to be in London. You can only know what it feels like to be in London once you're there. And that's the same with this process. Like before I went through it, I heard people talking about it and I was like, that sounds dumb. um, so it's something that you have to experience. You have to experience feeling. You have to experience opening and release. And the way to do it is to be really honest with ourselves, to choose to feel, to notice the ways that we're closing down, notice the ways that we're not allowing life to come in, people to come in, ideas to come in, whatever. There's this contraction and closing, and just learning how to open and to allow feeling to come in. And feeling is everything. Like, feeling will be the internal process that heals you from the inside out. And that's my share for today. This is already a very long video, so I hope this is helpful for you. If you want, like the video, subscribe, share this with somebody who might need it, and check my Substack out, and have a beautiful, beautiful day. Blessings.